Kaepernick just sent the internet into a frenzy after reportedly releasing disturbing audio tied to the Nolan Wells case, raising even more questions about what may have happened behind the scenes. TMZ also recently released a cleaned-up version of an earlier 911 call, and that audio has only pushed the controversy even further as people online try to figure out exactly what was said and what it could mean.
So we have a cleaned-up version of the emergency tow call from the 4th of July in the case of Nolan Wells, thanks to Janetta Brantley.
Colin has reportedly been locked into this case from early on, even providing Nolan's family with thousands of dollars to support an independent investigation. He appeared concerned that important details surrounding Nolan's death might not have been fully addressed by Mississippi authorities. Those concerns have kept serious attention on the case, especially as new recordings and claims continue making their way across the internet.
Guess who was paying for Nolan Wells' independent autopsy? Colin Kaepernick. You guys, this is a big deal. Colin Kaepernick is paying for his independent autopsy.
From the moment this story started spreading online, Nolan's family raised questions about circumstances they believed needed a closer look. One major issue involved Nolan's phone. His family said they had to track the device down themselves and make serious efforts to recover it. Nolan's mother, Christine Wansley, did not publicly identify the person she retrieved the phone from, although online reports have widely claimed that the person was Warren Hudson. Early coverage made the phone situation sound much simpler, almost like Warren contacted Nolan's parents and voluntarily handed the device over. Christine later gave a very different account. She said she had to track Nolan's phone using his Snapchat and Life 360 information. After she reportedly traced the device to Warren's house, she sent a friend there to collect it, adding another strange detail to a case already packed with unanswered questions.
Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. He's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Even then, Warren and his mother, Ashley Cole, who is also a judge, allegedly gave Nolan's family a hard time before the phone was finally handed over. According to claims surrounding the case, when the family eventually got access to Nolan's phone, they discovered that his text messages were gone. Photos from the day he disappeared were reportedly missing too. That detail immediately made the whole situation look even more suspicious to people following the case. Then things took another wild turn. A 911-related distress call surfaced, involving one of Nolan's friends contacting a private towing service at around 4 p.m. on July 4th. During the call, it was reportedly explained that the boat's bilge pump had failed and that they were taking on water near the western tip of Horn Island.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. We're going down now.
What did we just hear? What was that?
But this is where people online started asking even more questions. Authorities released a version of the call containing a music and background noise, making parts of the conversation before the CTOW dispatcher answered difficult to hear. Reports later claimed that another version existed, where the background audio was much clearer. That difference quickly became a major talking point, with critics questioning why the harder-to-hear recording was the one initially circulated. There is no verified proof from this alone that anyone intentionally tried to mislead the public, but the difference between the recordings definitely got people talking.
Now, if this cleaned up version of the audio is accurately depicting what we think we're hearing, then that means Wyatt was being dishonest, because you can clearly hear his name being yelled while they're also yelling in distress about Nolan not being alive. That means Judge Ashley Cole, who is the mother or stepmother of Wyatt, also was dishonest in her statement.
TMZ later obtained another version of the recording and enhanced the audio, and that is where things got seriously intense. According to TMZ's interpretation of the enhanced recording, a voice believed to belong to one of Nolan's friends can allegedly be heard speaking before the dispatcher answers. The person reportedly says, and I quote, "Is he dead? Nolan, oh my God, check his chest," followed by, "Wake up." Those alleged words immediately became one of the most heavily discussed details surrounding the recording.
That there were a bunch of people around who know exactly what happened to Nolan, and they all decided that they were going to come up with a story and run with it. Now, another thing that's frying me, and maybe I'm confused, is that originally they all was acting like they did not know Katie McCormick, the girl who Nolan was allegedly with on the beach the last time they saw him. But in the stories they keep telling, they keep talking about people texting Katie to ask Katie where Nolan was.
The second this audio dropped, social media went crazy. People started arguing that those on the call may not have realized their voices were being recorded while they were waiting for dispatch. That made the recording feel like a potentially important piece of evidence, with people demanding that investigators isolate the voices and determine exactly what was actually being said. Then, accusations started flying that nobody was being arrested because one of the mothers involved is a judge. Some social media users even claimed that connections were protecting the people involved. Those claims have not been proven, and there is no confirmed evidence that anyone received special treatment because of a family connection. Still, the speculation exploded after independent audio engineer Janetta Brantley released her own cleaned-up version, which spread heavily across social media. Some listeners claimed they could even hear the name Bart in that recording. That kicked off the viral theory that Nolan's friends already knew he was dead because, according to the reported official timeline, Nolan was not supposed to be on the boat when that call was made. But there is a major catch. That interpretation of the audio is seriously disputed. Forensic analyst Robert Freed compared the recordings and reportedly found that the TMZ version was around 20 seconds longer than the original and had a different digital fingerprint. According to his analysis, that means it was not simply a cleaned-up copy of the exact same file, which raised serious questions about its authenticity. Robert also said that even advanced enhancement software struggled to identify the specific words people claimed they were hearing, and those words reportedly did not appear in professional transcriptions. Then there's the whole autopsy controversy. This reportedly became a major concern for Colin Kaepernick and pushed him to get involved with the case. He offered to help pay for an independent autopsy as Nolan's family continued looking for clearer answers about exactly how he died.
Listen, y'all, it has just been reported that Tyler Perry will be paying for Nolan Wells' funeral. Absolutely incredible. And then on top of that, Colin Kaepernick's foundation will be taking over the independent autopsy, and they will be actually paying for that as well.
By this point, some people following the case were already suspicious that Nolan's death could become another unresolved Black Death, with major questions left hanging and the public demanding answers. But those suspicions are allegations, and there has been no confirmed finding that officials intentionally tried to cover up Nolan's death. Then, attention shifted heavily toward the first autopsy. The state medical examiner's office conducted the autopsy on July 7th, but the full findings were not immediately released publicly. Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McIlrath announced on July 23rd that the state autopsy would remain withheld from the public until the case was presented to a grand jury. Officials had previously said they were waiting for toxicology results, which only made people watching the case even more eager to know what the report contained. McIlrath pushed back against the growing suspicion and said this was standard local procedure rather than some special move being made specifically in Nolan's case. In a released statement, she said, "Every death in the county, except those of natural causes and non-criminal car wrecks, is presented to your grand jury," and explained that this is how death investigations in the county have been handled throughout her career. She also pointed toward Mississippi's rules of professional conduct, which limit what prosecutors can publicly reveal while an investigation is still active. From her position, the silence surrounding the evidence was about following legal and ethical rules, not hiding information from the public. She separately explained that withholding the report was intended to protect the integrity of the investigation. McIlrath addressed the growing public frustration directly when she said, "I also understand that many people have questions about why more information has not been released publicly. In Mississippi, the rules of professional conduct restrict the information a prosecutor can release during an investigation. Our restraint in communicating facts and evidence is not an effort to keep the truth from the public. It is an effort to protect the integrity of this investigation and the grand jury proceeding." Now, going back to the independent autopsy that Colin reportedly helped pay for, the results came back inconclusive. Independent examiner Dr. Mitchell said he did not receive certain key parts of Nolan's body that he believed were necessary for a complete examination. That claim quickly raised even more questions about what the independent examiner was actually able to determine from the remains available to him. Even without everything he said he needed, Dr. Mitchell still reported findings that drew major attention and did not automatically point to a simple drowning explanation. The public reaction got intense, fast. One person reacted to this saying, "I bet they didn't think his case would receive such public scrutiny and support. Justice for Nolan." Another person said, "They didn't value his life, so they thought no one else would. They never anticipated this having so much attention." And despite all that public pressure, the investigation still did not suddenly turn into arrests or legal action. Authorities continued handling the case through the official investigative process, while Nolan's family and supporters kept pushing for more transparency. That gap between what people online believed they were seeing and what investigators were actually willing to confirm became one of the biggest sources of tension surrounding the case. At the same time, every new detail started getting picked apart. The disputed audio, the questions surrounding Nolan's phone, the unreleased state autopsy findings, and the concerns raised by the independent examiner all became separate pieces of a much bigger puzzle. But none of those details, by themselves, established that a crime had occurred or identified anyone as responsible for Nolan's death. That did not stop the internet from turning into detective mode. People continued comparing timelines, analyzing recordings, and questioning statements connected to the investigation. Nolan's family also continued seeking answers through independent efforts as attention around the case grew. With so many conflicting claims floating around, the pressure was now on investigators to separate what could actually be supported by evidence from what had simply gone viral online. Meanwhile, Nolan's family and supporters were still demanding clearer answers about the timeline surrounding his disappearance and death. Questions about the phone, the boat call, the competing interpretations of the audio, and the two autopsy examinations were now all being discussed together. But despite how suspicious certain details looked to people online, suspicion alone was not enough to prove that Nolan was intentionally harmed or that any specific person was responsible. That distinction became extremely important as names connected to the case continued spreading across social media. Some users were treating theories like confirmed facts, while others argued that the evidence needed to be independently verified before anybody was accused of something this serious. With public pressure growing and so many different versions of the story circulating, every confirmed detail mattered more than ever. But now I want to hear what you think about this entire situation. What do you make of Colin stepping in and reportedly helping pay for Nolan's independent autopsy while the family continued pushing for answers? And what do you think about the cleaned-up versions of the 911 call that started circulating online? Do you believe they reveal something important, or do the questions surrounding the recordings make you skeptical about what people claim they can hear? There are still major questions surrounding this case, and online theories should not be treated as proven facts until the evidence actually supports them. But with the disputed recordings, the autopsy controversy, and the family's continued search for answers, it is easy to understand why this story has attracted so much attention. Drop your thoughts in the comments section and tell me what you think really matters most in this case. Like the video if you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to the channel for more stories like this, and share this video with someone who has been following the case. Then, click here to watch this other messy video.